Meaning is intangible, but it still very much structures reality. And I have taken the very real creative risk of attempting to push you as an audience to understand this question of what happens when we start seeing art as infrastructure. I have shown you my answer through my own memory, bloodline, and identity, inner infrastructure. But today, I am going to step off that soapbox completely, because the most powerful thing I can do is let the people who have built institutions, shaped policy, and invested in communities answer that question themselves. I'm Kayla Collins, storyteller and founder. Today, my stakeholders will tell you who I am to the outside world. What does art as infrastructure look like on an institutional level, a government level, a community level? Ask the people who are already building it.
My name is Frances Pollock. I am from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I am the director of the Cultural Innovation Lab here at Yale Ventures.
I'm Liz Shapiro, and I am the director of Arts, Preservation, and Museums for the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development.
My name is Chavez, and I'm the executive director for the Arts Council of Greater New Haven.
I'm a composer by trade, so I have a long and storied career in fine arts. I've written 5 operas. They're out in the world. They're sort of performing the way that operas perform. My personal story is very much about realizing that even though I was winning on paper in all the ways that was supposed to matter, I was not going to be able to make the economics work for my career. When I got to Yale as a student, I started to really become obsessed with what are the systems that make money and what are the ways in which different industries create sustainability within them. I became fascinated with capital and the different ways that you can use capital to build businesses and the ways in which you can use businesses to create cultural change, and then the ways in which that kind of dictates how the world is run. We in the arts had no access to this at all. That's been my journey and why it's so important for artists to understand businesses at multiple different levels.
There's not one right way to convince people that artists and creatives are the backbone of our economic development strategy. People can only hear what you're saying when they are already slightly convinced that who is saying it and what they're saying actually has credibility. When I present statistics from the Bureau of Economic Analysis and compare them to the same statistics that are given for manufacturing and all other kinds of workforce, and when I say, okay, well, this data that I'm showing you is exactly the same data that you're using for manufacturing and to defend investment in manufacturing, it's really confusing for them to hear that, because that is not what they were brought up to believe.
I think there's a few things. I think one is that we have a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies in our culture. One of them is this idea that all artists are starving artists, that parents tell their kids when they want to go to school to be a painter or a dancer or a writer or a philosopher, that what they're doing is never going to make them any money. And when you put that out in the world and you don't teach kids, you don't teach adults the business of it and what's possible and what's scalable, then you just limit their opportunities. Our ecosystem, our system of capitalism in this country doesn't function actually if everyone wants to go into the highest paying careers of finance, right? It doesn't actually work. Not everyone can do that. Someone has to be out there doing other kinds of work. There has to be a much more diverse economic community. And if we silo certain sectors away from those which can make money, we just continue the cycle, right? It just becomes self-fulfilling. So what I think is really valuable about the work that you're doing and the work that we're trying to do in the Cultural Innovation Lab and the work of just approaching artists as entrepreneurs is because you are.
You are a go-getter. You are an entrepreneurial thinker. From the first moment that I met you, that is what I thought. And I still think that. You come across as extremely confident, a person who would be very hard to say no to.
Incredibly audacious. And you have this quiet confidence that is really nice in the innovation space. Because it's not over-presumptive, it's not in your face immediately. It builds trust because of how consistent you are and how you show up in the space.
I would say that Kayla is entrepreneurial, is creative, is invested in her community, is confident and clear about who she is and what she's trying to build and why that matters for her lineage, for her community, and the people she comes from.
I think more sort of impactfully what I learned is that telling your story is the most dynamic way of connecting to people who want to help you. Because like the level of interest and engagement in what we've been doing since then has been incredible.